Welcome back, guys. We're doing another video. Now this one is going to be a little bit different, similar to one that we've done in the past, but this one is going to be a top 10 Nat5 list of the monsters that I think need to be buffed. Now we did one in the past on the top 10 worst Nat5. A lot of those got buffed, actually. Surprise, surprise, maybe CompTOS is watching. So in case that you guys are watching CompTOS, this list is just for you. This is a top 10 Nat5 list of the monsters that absolutely need to be buffed, okay? Now, of course, guys, if you're watching this is from my point of view. You know, you don't have to agree with it. If you guys have a differing point of view, you can just leave it in the comment section below and we can discuss or argue it in there. But of course, a lot of these, you know, pretty well agreed upon monsters that need buffs. Now, the first one is Vanessa. A lot of you guys are probably thinking like, oh, Reafi, you talked about Vanessa, how good she was, all this stuff when you summoned her. I'm pretty sure that was before the Water Fairy King even became implemented, or if it was after the Water Fairy King, he probably wasn't being used so much. Now, the Water Fairy King completely replaces Vanessa in every way, shape, and form. Now, that being said, of course, there's so many flaws with Vanessa that it's just come to the point where now that we have a unit that's similar with the 33% attack speed leader skill, Vanessa's completely replaced. She's gone. She's just gone, okay? So Vanessa, the problem with her is her third skill. The revive is so weak. It's so absolutely weak that it's on par with a Nat3 monster. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about Michelle. Michelle, the Wind Epikeon Priest. Yes, the revive is as strong as Michelle's. Look at that. The only difference is 5% HP. So if you have Vanessa, oh no, now you get to revive with 5% more HP than Michelle. I mean, that's a huge improvement, right? No. Now, I mean, if you compare it to monsters like, let's compare it to Eladriel, Iona. We could even compare it to freaking Kraka. It's, if you don't know who that is, by the way, that is the Dark Hell Lady. Those revives are crazy. Those revivers just absolutely do so much work. Even Beta is a lot better. But with Vanessa, it's just not enough. I think that they should raise the HP amount that it revives. They should maybe give a speed buff. So they should do 50% HP revive with a speed buff and then recovers by 15% per turn for 2 turns. I think that would be a lot better. Even if they had to increase it by like 1 cooldown time, I think it would improve Vanessa incredibly. Or they could go the Kraka route and give invincibility for 1 turn. I'm totally down for that as well, CompTOS, if you need ideas. So, the next one, we're actually moving on to the water section. Believe it or not, it is Shiho. You guys probably believe it. Shiho is a monster that has gotten so many buffs in the past. I don't even remember what the original skills were. I think it was just like normal 4 hits on the 3rd skill, and then everything else was the same. This one is, I don't think this has been changed, honestly. Maybe they changed it to go to 100% chance when you max skill it. I just want to explain to you guys, I have no problem with Shiho's 3rd skill. This 3rd skill is incredible, okay? CompTOS, are you listening? This 3rd skill is awesome. Please don't change it. It's good. The problem is that they have not touched this 2nd skill. This 2nd skill is so horrible, I've never used it. I never use it. I would rather take the chance with a 50% stun than use this 2nd skill. Just to give you guys a bit of an idea, I want to show you a monster here that has the exact same 2nd skill as Shiho. Can you guys see it? It is the Mischievous Bat. The 2nd skill is the exact same as Shiho. Attacks all enemies and decreases the attack bar by 30% with a 75% chance. Shiho attacks all enemies and decreases the attack bar by 30% with a 75% chance. And the cooldown times are the same too. And the upgrades too for the max skilling are the same too. When I saw that, I was pretty upset at first, but then I started getting more sympathetic for Shiho users. It's one of those things that makes you very, very sad. It's basically like Shiho has no 2nd skill, honestly. I mean, he's got a very nice leader skill. He awakens into attack speed, which is awesome. His 3rd skill does so much damage. It does 120k damage for me in Fame on Hell. when I put him on some decent runes. And his first skill for the Monkey Kings is just mwah. But then you go to the second skill and it's just completely unusable. It's almost to the point of it being unusable. Alright, so this next monster here, guys, is one of my all-time favorites for the hate list. A lot of you guys like her. I absolutely despise her, but I think there's something that we can agree on here. Hathor is not necessarily a monster that needs to be buffed. Rather, I think sleep skills need to be buffed completely. I don't think that Hathor's skill set is necessarily bad. I'm just so annoyed with the sleep inability effect that the fact that Hathor brings sleep on her 2 special skills really bugs me. And I don't think I would ever be able to nut up and just get Hathor to use it into a hard or even arena or anything like that, because sleep is just so annoying to mess around with. I think any person that has Hathor can agree with me on this. So Hathor is actually like a pretty interesting monster. I mean, it has 3 turn denial, or 2.75 turn denial. Okay, so on top of that, it can also remove beneficial effects and put the enemy target to sleep. Kind of like Sekhmet's, except it's not a reset, it's a sleep effect. But it's still sleep, and if you touch them, they're gonna wake up. And someone told me that if the continuous damage does damage, they wake up too. I haven't confirmed that. I'll get back to you guys on that. But if that's the case, that's really messed up. That's just absolutely unacceptable. My suggestion is to do some kind of special case with sleep skill. Have some kind of thing with sleep. Make it so that if you touch them, they wake up. But it does more than freeze and stun. So it's riskier to use and to keep on them, but it has more return from using this kind of skill. That would make Hathor a lot more usable. And honestly, I think the resistance leader skill kind of not really necessary, but what are you gonna do about it? Alright, so this next monster is one that has been people have been asking for a buff for since the game came out, or actually when the game switched from bruiser meta to nuking meta. So that's Recon, of course. Recon is one of those units that has been receiving buffs since I can remember. Of course, I mean, the Chimeras in general are really nice, but Recon just falls off the deep end and keeps going and sinking all the way down and down and down and down because the skills are just so bad off multipliers. It's a single target nuke based on max HP, which is awesome. But then you get into the point of, okay, well, the first skill, not dealing max HP damage. This third skill is the proportionality between max HP and the attack power. Is it good? And short answer, quick answer, no, it's not. I mean, you can do more damage with just straight out attack nuking on other units, especially with grindstones out and Rift now, or even with the new homunculus. It's just completely outclassed, almost unusable. You can use them in Guild War offenses for certain wins against like full win teams. But other than that, this guy just has nothing going for him. Increases into accuracy, and his only skill that does he does actually have speed decrease, and of course he decreases the attack gauge by 50%. So yeah, accuracy, awakening into accuracy is fine. I think the main problem with Recon is his multipliers. If they kept the multipliers or even lowered it, but made his third skill an AoE, I think that would be okay too. Honestly, I think that would be okay. But his second skill's fine, on par. Okay, guys, it's his third skill. Please come to us. Please do something about it. Recon, he needs some loving, man. Alright, so this next unit, actually Nightly Gaming has her. It is Laura. Laura is one of those units, one of the occult girls that just absolutely has nothing going for her. So the first skill is absolutely phenomenal. I love the occult girl first skill, you know, just first turn violent procs. That's just, that's nasty. The second skill, completely fine. Summons a Dull Knight and attacks all enemies, stunning them for 1 turn with a 50% chance. Boom, that's cool. Okay, she also awakens into accuracy. Boom, that's fine. She's going to be sleeping. She's going to be stunning. And her third skill, yada, yada, yada. And light attribute, you know, normal occult girl leader skill brings the attribute 38% critical rate. But then we look at her third skill. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Okay, decreases the attack power 3 hits. Or 3 turns, 3 hits. And it's a 40% chance to decrease the attack power. Of course, I think that increases as you upgrade her, but I'm not completely sure on that. But it's proportionate damage to the max HP. And with Laura, an HP-based monster, she doesn't do that much damage. I've seen Laura's in Arena based on max HP. They do HP crit damage HP. They do not do any damage. Go watch a nightly video. Go watch a nightly gaming video, and you will not see him using Laura. And if you do, it's probably out of fun because she doesn't do any damage. She needs a buff. That's really all I got to say about her. Honestly, fix her. The only way to fix her, take off her damage scaling from HP and bring it to attack. Change her HP support roll or her HP roll into attack roll and give her more base attack and lower her max HP. So compensate for more attack power and then switch the scalings on her third skill. That would be really nice. I would actually really like Laura. I think that would be awesome. 3 hits, that's really good when you're going up against like Molly type teams where you have to do multi-hits to get away from that glancing and stuff like that. People that have Tosi would really love to use her, or even just a leader skill just to give her more, critical rate in general. I think that would be really nice. Alright, so the unit after that needs a buff big time is Deafness. Now, of course, everyone wants Deafness to be buffed. I pulled Deafness recently in a summoning session for someone, and I didn't know whether to say congrats or to say rip, rest in peace, because honestly, he is one of the worst units in the game in terms of natural 5 stars. Okay, so let's look at the potential that he has. He has a 30% chance to remove a beneficial effect, but he hits 2 times, which is nice. His second skill is the same as a Water Fairy King, attacks all enemies, and increases their cooldowns by 1 turn each. I think it maxes out to 100% chance when you max skill him with Devilmon. Awesome. That is awesome. The damage scalings on this skill, on the second skill are not bad either. But then we get into the third skill. Ooh, what a blunder. Attacks the enemy with Raging Flame. Both you and the target will lose 30% HP, but your target will receive massive additional damage. Great. So, not only is this a single target, you sacrifice your own HP, and on top of that, the scalings on this third skill aren't really that impressive. It's not like Brandia status, actually. Brandia does really nice damage. I mean, I showed you guys a video. She's pretty underrated. But with Deafness, I don't even know where I would use him. If you're thinking about using him in bosses or in Rift, like, I could use him in Rift. I could use him in TOA. Guess again, boss type enemies will only lose 15% of HP from this skill. So, still, it can do some damage to bosses, but you're not going to be using him that much. If you do, it's probably either due to lack of options or you've really ruined him well. I don't really have any ideas on how to buff this guy. I think if they buffed his damage scalings, that would really help, but it's almost unsalvageable. I think they'd have to do something different with his third skill. Add something. They'd have to just add something. Maybe add in a reset ability or, something like that. Or maybe add some debuffs that he could do, like defense break. That would be interesting if he could add defense break before his massive additional damage. So both you and the target will lose 30% HP, and the enemy target will receive defense break, and your target will receive massive additional damage. So it sets yourself up. That would be pretty cool. That would actually be pretty interesting. I'd love to see that. The critical rate, though, is awesome, 33% in Arena. But, yeah, you're not going to really use him in Arena anyways, but yeah, it's whatever. And then, of course, he awakens into accuracy. Alrighty, so the next one on this list, we're starting to actually get into the light and dark realm, and that's because the light and dark units, they get absolutely no love. They don't get buffed. They very rarely get buffed because no one has them, so CompTOS, it's like, well, no one's complaining about them, so we don't need to buff them. We're going to be talking about Nigong. Now, this is a unit that I didn't have on my top 10 worst Nat5 list, and he should have been, actually, because he has absolutely, nothing going for him. His first skill, that's great. It's a normal Pioneer skill. His second skill is the same as Wusa, which is, it's okay. It's alright. It's not really that incredible. It's like a Ramagos type skill, but, it's manageable. Okay? Doesn't really need a buff. But his third skill, cast Soul Protection upon all allies for 3 turns. Ally revives automatically with 30% HP if the ally dies when this skill is active. So it's kind of like a crappier version of Huadam, if I might say so. So it's a soul protection ability. That means if you kill the enemy, or if you kill someone that has soul protection on them, they instantly revive with 30% HP. The problem with that is the revive from the soul protection is weak. On top of that, it's a buff, which can be removed, and it's really not that powerful. If I were you guys from Comp2S, I would add more additional effects onto this third skill, like maybe it cleanses, maybe it puts on invincibility, maybe even puts on immunity, like cleanses and puts on 2-turn immunity and soul protection for 3 turns. That would be pretty cool. That would be very, very interesting. Leader skill, perfect, on point. He's an HP-based monster, and he awakens into... I can't even click on that. He awakens into resistance. Okay, so I mean, he's not that bad for a support role. But his third skill is very, very lacking, and I view it, he's very lacking. Fwa, I never see Fwa using him. Scat, I'm pretty sure has him. I never see Scat using him, and he tried him on Guild War Defense. Did not work out at all. So, I'm just telling you now, very, very, very weak unit. The next one is just shortly over. It is, again, the Monkey King, Kishan, I'm not even gonna pronounce it. Dasheng. Okay, so Dasheng, the Light Monkey King, absolutely horrible. And I'm surprised he's not the number 1 on our list for like the monsters that need buffs. Okay, so you guys remember what I was saying about Shiho? How he absolutely needs a buff. First skill, okay, perfect, yeah. Second skill sucks. It's on par with a 2-star silver monster. Okay. Third skill, attacks all enemies with a giant net. Sleeping skill, again, which is just horrible. I hate sleep. Decreases the attack speed for 2 turns, and it's proportionate to the max HP. Okay, so this skill does sleep effect, decreases the attack speed, and it deals damage proportionate to the max HP. Paired with a very crappy second skill is a third skill that's supposed to be like CC based that does sleep. Hathor is better than this. Hathor is much better than this. And then to top it all off, it's a resistance leader skill. You can't use it in the only place that requires a resistance leader skill, which is in Rift Raid. And you can't even use him there because you can't apply sleep. And his second skill is the only thing that would be able to work there, other than the speed debuff. I mean, mix that in with the attack speed increase from Awakening. He has potential, but it's just thrown away by a crappy leader skill, a very crappy second skill, and then of course a third skill, and then a second skill that's on par with a 2-star silver 2-star monster. Okay, absolutely awful, absolutely terrible. I would completely rework the third skill, or again change the mechanics of sleep. And guys, you gotta get rid of the second skill on the Monkey Kings. This attacks all enemies and decreases attack bar by 30%. Is garbage. But whoa. Hold up. Attacks all enemies and decreases their attack bar by 30%. Attacks all enemies and decreases their attack bar by 30% with a 75% chance. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I think that's a typo. I hope it's a typo. I think Shiho didn't get updated. I think that's a typo. It's supposed to be 100% chance. I'm pretty sure that's a typo. Alright, moving on to the Dark Monsters. With the Dark Monsters, we've got Raul next. Now, honestly, I would put Raul next, or as a number 1 unit that needs to get buffed. But honestly, I think that there's a unit worse than him, believe it or not. So, Raul is a Beast Monk. Like Beast Monks, they deal damage proportionate to the max HP. But let's take a look at what makes him bad. First skill. Every Beast Monk has a special first skill ability. So for Kumar, he puts on dots when he crits. With Ritesh, he provokes. For Chandra, he stuns, which is really good. And then for the Light Beast Monk, I forgot his name. He actually puts on defense break. So this one, it heals back damage proportionate to the max HP. So you heal back that amount of damage. And you know what? Almost completely useless. It's like the healing from freaking Chloe on her first skill. That's the kind of healing you're going to be doing. It's just irrelevant. So now immediately his first skill is weaker. Second skill, he has defend. They changed it from hug ability, so now it's defend. So it's, again, same thing as Chandra. A lot of people view it as very weak because it's not a heal, and it's really just, ugh. Honestly, I think the defend ability should actually get a buff. I think that they should turn it into, like, receives 30% of the damage, or like even lower than that. I think that would be really cool. But the defend ability overall is just really crappy. Maybe if he uses defend, it heals you by like 15% for 3 turns. That would be pretty cool too. Third skill, attacks all enemies with a spell that summons the power of darkness. Okay, it is an AoE, max HP, proportionate damage skill. And like the other Beast Monks, it adds on a harmful effect. But what does it add? Blocks beneficial effects for 2 turns. It doesn't even remove buffs first. It blocks beneficial effects. What the hell? That is very bad, because no one uses that. The only other unit that I know of that puts this on AoE skill is Gibraltar, and of course the Dark Kobold Bomber too. But those ones, no one uses them for the same reason. So why would people use Raul for this? I think if they want to fix this, first off, they should fix the defendability. If they don't want to fix that, that's fine. It's just a personal opinion that I have, that it should be buffed, because it's really not that strong. But the third skill, 100% should be buffed. I think that they should make it where he cleanses the enemy team, so he removes buffs, and then he puts on blocking beneficial effects. A unit that this is actually really similar to is Eludia. Okay, removes beneficial effects and then prevents enemies from receiving beneficial effects. That's something that Raul should do. That is something that Raul should do. Leader skill is fine, and then he awakens into upgrading that first skill. So that's completely fine. It's his third skill. Second skill, maybe. It's arguable. It's debatable. But his third skill, come on. He should be removing beneficial effects and then blocking the beneficial effects. All right. We've come to the end of the list. The number 1 unit that I think deserves and needs a buff. Can you guys guess it? It's Lydia, the Dark Polar Queen. Now, before this, she put on a branding effect. She was okay. She dealt somewhat damage. She could be used in Rift. They changed her, and honestly, it's a nerf. It is a nerf. So the first skill, defense break, awesome. Same thing as Tiana. Second skill, same thing as Tiana. It can deal some pretty nice damage for a second skill. Third skill, recovers the ally's HP by the amount that's proportionate to your attack power and reflects 30% of the incoming damage back to the attacker for 2 turns. So I'm pretty sure this is an actual damage-based skill, so you actually do damage. Otherwise, if they changed it where there's no damage with this, it's just complete crap. But I'm pretty sure it does damage. That's how it was before they changed the description. So now you recover an ally's HP by the amount proportionate to the attack power, and then you put on a little effect. It's a buff where you reflect 30% of the incoming damage. That's garbage. I don't know where you would ever use Lydia, and I can't think of how you would be able to fix her third skill. I have no idea. Absolutely useless. I don't know anyone that uses Lydia anywhere. I've never seen Lydia being used, ever. Ever, ever, ever. And even after this whole change, I think she's even worse now. So Lydia is the number 1 monster I feel needs a buff, even more so than Raul. That's how ridiculous it's gotten. I mean, she's got the potential, she's got increased critical rate, but that third skill, man, it's just, oh god, it's just awful. It's just so bad. So there you guys have it. That is my top 10 list for the monsters that I think are Nat5s that I think deserve a buff. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, these monsters might not necessarily be the worst or the most useless. There's some monsters out there that I view as very useless, but are very unique and definitely do not need a buff, because they're meta dependent and stuff like that. But these units are just bad all around. Even in the areas that they specialize, they are kind of a handicap, if I might say so. So, alright guys, I hope you enjoyed. I will be putting out some summons tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think as well. I would love to hear from that. And if CompTOS does watch this, Please, please, please buff Vanessa and Shiho. I have those units, and I can't use them, you know, guys? Like, they really need some love. Alright, guys. I will see you all next time.